in about 9 days now, as I'm not too far from that city, and there's some kind of updates report that needs to be made. And since I'm close enough, I'm willing to go myself. I told my lawyer that he can, he doesn't have to go. I'll go this time. He's gone the first two, and and he's charged me $100 for his gas money to get there. So since I'm close enough, I want to go and do the same thing that he's doing. Because Joe Josley said that it's fine if either one of us go. So it doesn't. It's not him and me, or just him. It's him or me, because this isn't a court. This isn't an official court date. This is like an update thing, and so I'm going for that. And I don't like. What do I? How do I prepare for a court update? I don't. I don't really. I don't know what I can do for preparing on this, because the past two times now, and I think it's every 3 months that this happens. The past two times, my lawyer simply arrives at Judge Ousley's courtroom at 9 a.m. or whatever, and simply says, I have no report to make, or I have no new report to make. So that's what I'm doing. Except I'm gonna do it a little bit differently with Judge Ousley. When I go, I'm gonna make sure to get some things established first. I want to find out what he's looking for in a report. All right, because my lawyer doesn't know. All my lawyer could do is tell me the legal, the legal objections you can make at these types of hearings. You could just object to it, saying that it's a waste of the court officer's time. There's no judicial efficiency going on with this, and he doesn't have anything to report, and that's his end of it. So what can we do uh, as as a standard for reporting to Judge Ousley? All right, he just said he had an open-ended like request or demand, I guess, that we report to Judge Ousley every 3 months. All right, and he's not hearing it any other way. It's open-ended. So should I report to him? Um, maybe, I don't know. Uh, like the last time, give him the weather report. Should I report the weather to Judge Ousley? What's a good thing I can report to Judge Ousley? All right. How about the latest murder? The latest thing in the news. What would Judge Ousley like that? Would you like that, Judge Ousley? The latest reports, the latest news reports. Maybe a little um report on your own actions. Maybe we could look at your history of how you've treated people in your courtroom. We could report on that. The water levels. Yeah. What else? Yeah. How's the local sports team doing? Judge Ousley, here, have this report. I'd like to book report. All right. Yeah. I mean, this is very open-ended. He wants a status report. Well, let's start reporting. Let's just start reporting on various things, and until he clarifies what his issue is and why we need to show up. And it's not even like an official court process. The court process is done, and it's been handed over to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. It's out of his court. Yet somehow Judge Ousley has no jurisdiction, yet somehow Judge Ousley has jurisdiction. All right, because there's the potential that it could fall back into his jurisdiction. So he's got a purgatory jurisdiction right now. It's the city court has a purgatory jurisdiction over me, and my case is fully in the jurisdiction of the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, and partially in the jurisdiction of Judge Ousley's city courts, in the Natchitoches City Courts. So, ticket to the moon base. What? The thumbnail. What? The thumbnail makes you look like cops are violent. Yeah, I turned the flashlight on because there's not much light in here. But this sign, I'll just show it. What the heck? This sign over here is flashing bright every so often at the FBT. It might not show up. All right. It says closed Monday, January 2nd. It says 9:09, 66 degrees. So I'm relying on this bank for lights. Oh, and then it says Sunday it's 72 degrees, 52 low. Monday it's supposed to rain at 69 degrees, 64. And Tuesday 71 degrees, something like that. How's that for a report, Judge Ousley? Is that helpful? We start out. It's pretty good to start out with the weather report. 10 days from now, though. So we'll just have to pay attention to that. Give him a forecast for the week. How would you like a forecast for the week? Maybe he's just so technologically. Let's see. I don't know. I was thinking insufficient. Technologically insufficient. Technologically challenged that he has trouble even looking up weather reports online. Just he relies on the jesters to come entertain him while he claps happily and sings to himself. That's the jester report. Where jesters are required to report to him. Smart mouth, you might end up back in jail. You could say whatever you want outside of the courtroom. And if I get thrown in jail, it'll be the third time, and who knows for what reason. I usually want to let him talk and respond, and then I respond. I don't just start mouthing off. I mean, on the internet, there's no conversation here. It's just me talking. So I don't know. You can call it mouthing off, but I when I'm usually in the presence of someone else, I'm more engaged in a conversation with them. I don't just start talking total nonsense. Especially in court. Court has to be efficient. There's a judicial efficiency going on that we have to respect. Well, that Judge Ousley does not respect, demanding that me or my lawyer show up to give him a report. And the past two times, I think the first time was reasonable because my lawyer was working on my writ. My writ that was to be sent to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. So this writ was in the process. It was in my lawyer's hands. All right, that makes sense. Judge Ousley wants a report on where my lawyer is at on his writ. Well, after it got submitted, Judge Ousley continues to want a report from me. And what else can I say? It's just a repeat. It's like, okay, the writ was filed, I don't know, July 20 something. So after the first report, it was maybe my lawyer could say I filed the writ. It was filed back in July. The second report, that was November, October. I think it might have been October, November, December, every 3 months. So my lawyer reported in October and pretty much just repeats the same thing. But he said, he told Judge Ousley, I have nothing new to report. But he could have said, repeated himself. This is a repeat. This is a repeat status report. All I can report is, if you missed it the first time, Judge Ousley, if you missed it the first time, I sent, and this is on record too, but if I can repeat it, I sent the writ to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals in July. And now, coming up January 10th, it's the same thing. For the third time, Judge Ousley, we sent the writ to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. All right? How many more times? We just have to keep repeating. The fine isn't automatically suspended. Yeah, there's, I mean, how can I, this is double jeopardy. How can I be 100% in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals courts and then, like, I don't know, 50% in the city judicial, the city's jurisdiction courts too? How can I be in two courts at the same time? That fine can be collected by the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. The sentence can be continued by the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. It's like, what if they don't communicate? What if they just say, yeah, Travis, you gotta spend them last 4 days in jail. Sorry, that's our decision. And then Judge Elsie's like, oh, I got word that you have to continue your sentence. Well, I could be sentenced twice almost. It's really, there's a bad channel of communication that happens, and that's why Judge Elsey is kind of like he talks in a way like he's out on his own as a city judge. Like he said, precedence doesn't matter to him. So people, judges who have been elected to higher positions over him in this ranking system, this military, almost military style like ranking system, where, well, I don't, how does that work? If a district court judge goes down, could a city court judge be brought up to take over that position? Or maybe that's federal court, or even is a city court judge even allowed to step up to take over the duties of a district court judge? Kind of like the ranking for the president or something. The House Speaker is third in line. Is there a line system there that includes a city judge? It shouldn't. All city judges are scum anyway. They shouldn't be in that type of a ranking system. But let's see. I think I got off track a little bit. Let's see. To obey the law. Okay. Yeah. So this January 10th status update or report that I have to do. I'm getting prepared to get over there. I'm not far. I'm positioning myself in a way so that I can get over there efficiently, and I have to think about where am I going to park my car in case they do something terrible like they have been doing, like try to throw me back in jail or something. Possibly my voice recorder. They still have my voice recorder. And I'm gonna ask for it back. I wanna know what's going on with that. So that's something that you could bring up if we're gonna have an official hearing. It's open-ended, like his report demand. You bring up topics that are relevant to your case, and that's one of them. I want to know what's going on with that. I want to see what evidence he wants to use against me. So I guess I would be filing a discovery. I'll do an oral discovery request. And then also, man, it's like as far as I think they searched uh, that voice recorder. So I want to see the paperwork for that. Having judge signing off saying, I approve of this search being done on Travis's voice recorder, and um, uh, what else? Oh yeah, and I also wanted to see what legal, what gave him the right to search. Maybe I hope he puts that in his approval letter that he signed off, saying I approve of whoever the investigators to search Travis's voice recorder, because uh, I think it was illegally obtained. All right. I was immediately arrested in court. All right. And felons get 3 days to prepare between, um, for sentencing and then conviction. You get 3 days after conviction to prepare for sentencing, as far as I know. And I want to argue that point. I want to say, I did, and the prosecutor said that I like motioned the judge to move forward with immediately with my sentencing, and that's not true. You'll see on the transcripts that there's silence, and I was forming my thoughts. I was saying I wanted to appeal, and I did not indicate that I wanted to go immediately into sentencing, because upon sentencing, that's when they put me in handcuffs in the courtroom and sent me right to jail. I didn't even lock my car door. I was I was taken to jail with an unlocked car, and I was really at a loss, being unable to prepare. They don't. And is that standard practice? Because I mean, Judge Ousley once again says that precedence doesn't matter to him. He sets his own precedence, and that is to just really get you in jail right away, to catch you off guard as much as possible. It's some kind of entrapment thing. He's using very much police tactics to sneak up on you, with shock and awe, and really push the ethical boundaries of this whole process of law enforcing in their city. So I want to argue that. I want to ask for my voice recorder and then argue the le- the legality of the sentencing. I did not, and I did not indicate to anyone that I wanted to move forward in sentencing. I needed time to prepare for that. But they were in such a rush, and and then they searched me and took the voice recorder. But they were in such a rush. They probably, well, it's possible they wanted to avoid any future videos immediately after the conviction. But I mean, what has he been doing in the past with other people? I don't know. So doesn't put yeah, the people who are violent to their spouses get off a lot easier than people who carry a camera and point it. And that's the thing. I need to be extra prepared. I'm going to a city that's hostile against cameras, and they've banned me for life from the library. So I have some challenges there. I don't want to. I'm thinking I can't spend a lot of time there because I only have so much battery life. And I'll go with a hotspot. Make sure that I have enough on the hotspot if I have a need to get on the Wi-Fi, because I was like 100% reliant on the library Wi-Fi, and now that I'm banned for life, there's that issue of getting Wi-Fi and getting electricity. I'm not banned from anywhere else, they attempted to ban me from doing public records requests with the city. But Judge Owsley said, no, that's going a little too far now. Judge Owsley denied Goldweem's argument that I should be completely denied and banned from making public records requests. That, yeah, I was thinking I wanted to, I'd like to park a distance away from this courthouse and ride my bicycle in. I'd really like to ride from Walmart, uh, or just somewhere outside, even outside of the city, somewhere that's like kind of publicly like busy, like a hospital parking lot or something. I'm gonna look around on the check out. I'm gonna study the geography a little bit closer and see if I can leave my car somewhere a distance away, and then bicycle in. So you're invited to spend more time. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about paying for rides to get to Natchitoches. I'm looking at maybe 5 miles. I'll consider up to 5 miles out away from the courthouse, the city courthouse, because there's the city courthouse in one building, and then like 10 blocks away is the county courthouse. Right. Oh, I don't think my lawyer will be going. I told him he doesn't need to go. He doesn't like making that drive because it really does, and it sounds like a waste of time to me too. He charges me $100 for gas. What is it, 35 cents per mile or something? But I'm gonna do it because I don't need to make any legal arguments. But I do want to ask what the deal is with this report. All right, and I intend to email the Third Circuit Court of Appeals secretary tomorrow and complain to her. I think it's a female, and they're responsive. I asked her what my case, or her. Let's call her, or what my case number is, and I was given a very quick response. And then they said that there's no website that you can type the case number into to receive updates. You have to call, and she gave me the phone number. So what I want to do is I want to complain to her, to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, that Judge Owsley is making me give updates on their process. All right, a report on their process. Everything is in their hands, because after the first update report, it's no longer in my hands. It's no longer in my lawyer's hands. The writ was submitted already. Yet we will get the transcript. I will pay the 100 for your lawyer to drive. It's too dangerous. No, I'll go myself, because my lawyer doesn't even want to ask the questions, because he can kind of foresee the answers. So, because in his experience, at least, he's sticking with strictly the legal approach, while I go in with more of a common sense. I'm trying to use more common sense and understanding approach. So, I want to ask some questions that my lawyer will not. Lawyers only do so much. And he did he wrote up a heck of a like arguments on my behalf. It looks interesting. I'm curious to see what and I look forward to seeing what the Third Circuit Court judges have to say. I bought my first new car in that town. Indoctrination lives in Natchitoches. You visited Natchitoches? Natchitoches. They're all in cahoots. Yeah, in the city they have some close knit relationships. I wonder how close that Natchitoches city lawyer or city judge is to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, because they deal with a lot of district courts. Well, they probably deal with city courts quite a bit. I don't know. It's I haven't really checked the records, but I want to complain to the Court of Appeals that I'm having to do updates that they provide. I have to be the middleman to provide updates from the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, and I'm gonna complain that I think it's unethical for Judge Elsie to do this when he knows how to contact the Third Circuit Court of Appeals and get updates. And all he has to do is mention my name. All right. I mentioned my name in an email to that Court of Appeals. I said, I'm so and so. Do you have my case number? And what's going on? Something like that. I don't know. And he can email them. I emailed. Um, he could email or call, and I just mentioned my name, and they were able to just tell me, what's kind of what's going on, and I can call, and Judge Ousley or even the prosecutor could do that as well. Um, so I'm gonna complain and just tell him that the city is giving me a hard time about because it's the whole city. Judge Ousley isn't representing the city by himself. He's not some rogue. He's not some rogue city judge. He's got full support from the city on this. The city has even gone so far as to hire Goldweems to give the prosecutor more like more manpower to fight against me. All right, this city has no problem reaching out to private lawyers to also uh, do 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 briefs and all that. Also receive any updates at the same time that you do. Yeah, that's the thing. Upon my my arrival for the January 10th at 9 a.m. Update in his courtroom, I want to make the offer to do like a conference call. That's the thing. I wanted to mention this to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. Can we set up a conference call with the city judge if you can't like intervene, if the Third Circuit Court of Appeals cannot intervene on these updates with Judge Ousley, then at least can we set up a conference call for this court date to all listen in, prosecutor, all on record too. We got to do this officially on record, all, and then we can get transcripts of it later. Have some kind of conference call where all of us can listen in the courthouse, because courtrooms are perfectly capable of having phone in conversations. I've I was in a phone conversation back in Idaho City, Idaho, over the another like a failure to ID issue, and the prosecutor just phoned it in. He was on the phone, and I was there, and my free lawyer was there, and the prosecutor was on the phone making some arguments. He was saying what documents he submitted, and he made some arguments referring to some cases and all that. He could phone it in, but I mean it was kind of cool. It was kind of okay for him to phone it in because there was some factors going on at the time. The Idaho fires of 2016 in the mountains. Like I was told, my lawyer, he told somebody that or he heard or something that the flames were so big that they were practically crossing the road, so they had to shut the road down leading from Boise to Idaho City. Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, he did have a phone conference with Phillips, so he knows how to do that. And that's the thing. Tomorrow, I want to argue that Ousley's being abusive with his privileges to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. People who are above him with these reports, Because what else? What other kind of report does he want? The weather report? Does he want the farmer's almanac report? I mean, it's a report that where there's nothing new. That it's like this is going to be the this will be, let's say, the second time. All right, this will be the third time for the hearing, but the second time will just simply repeat. There's nothing new to report. The first time is understandable, but the following two times make no sense because it's just a repeat. It's just you have a canned response. We've already submitted the writs. And how long is this going to go on? Because as far as I know, the other appeals courts work faster. And I will say that my lawyer mentioned there's an option to uh, send a motion to speed up your decision, and that could like expedite your decision or something. A lawyer can make that request. I don't even know what the time limit is. I don't know what the minimum or maximum time. I mean, as far as I understand, in the beginning processes of your criminal case, they got a year to prosecute you, or 90 days or something. They got to drop it. But then when it gets to the appeals court, it could go on for years with no indication what's happening. And I'm thinking I'm not in a big rush. I don't want to rush them for a simple response. I'm not in a hurry. They could take their time, but the only problem I have is these reports that Judge Chelsea's requesting every 3 months. So I want to address that directly, and try to get the Third Circuit Court of Appeals involved, because they might not know. This is a report that has been only between me and the City Court of Natchitoches. That's it. It's only been between us, and I'd like to involve the Court of Appeals in this as well. Alien Prepper, that's right. Yeah, I can't do anything on this cell phone. I have to look at that, and you can only access the blocked stuff on the computer, a regular website. So we're gonna figure things out a little bit more. It's not just gonna be I have nothing to report. I'd like to avoid this report, but if I can't, then I want to give Judge Elsie the most up to date report possible, and I'm guessing it has to do with my my appeal, and so the most up to date would be having a conference call so that he can hear their voices, a conference call in the courtroom, and they can explain to him what the status update is. All right, but I mean, I could just simply fall back, just show up and say I have nothing to report, and that's it. What else is there to say? But I think I want to get to the bottom of this. Really, I think there's some kind of disconnect between the city courts, between Judge Ousley. I don't know how have other judges been in the past with this situation. I don't know. So I wanna get to the bottom of this and understand his thinking, because I'm not following his thought process. Is this a practice that other judges are involved in? Wait a second. From what I understand, other judges aren't like this. They don't play these types of games with lawyers, of all people. They don't show so much disrespect with officers of the court. They're going down. Yeah, I don't know who's going down. It comes down to three appeals court judges, three unknown appeals court judges, and I'm not in the docket for January, so the report is there's nothing to report. And yeah, well, I'm just saying I'm going in, and my lawyer is not. Whatever work he wants to do, he can save 2 hours in the day. I'll do it since I'm in the area. And yeah, I'm heading south anyway. I don't really care to go this at this speed south. No, my burping problem is terrible. I'm not in a hurry because it's getting warm. It's really the warmth is really picking up. I'm not too thrilled about going so far south. I think as soon as I do this report on January 10th in his court, I'm out. I'm out of the state. I'm leaving the state, heading to straight to Mississippi. Just get across the border, and whatever future events have to occur, I'll listen in on that, play it by ear. So yeah, I'm returning. I had no intentions of going back, but I'm kind of close, and there's this report issue. But if I can avoid it, I want to see if the Third Circuit Court of Appeals can do any kind of intervention. So, I guess I'm gonna stay tuned for what the Third Circuit Court of Appeals can offer for advice. And they're gonna say we can't offer legal advice, right? Because that's legal advice. Like the best my lawyer said he could do is object, and that's it. Object to this process that Judge Owsley has created of doing reports every 3 months, and that's the best he can do. Just but I'll just see what the Third Circuit Court of Appeals can do for at least for a telephone conference. So that's about what it comes down to. Give Cloyd a Christmas card. Yeah, I'll be seeing Cloyd. I'd like to get a little video of him at least outside of the courthouse. I'll hang out there and do some recording at the courthouse, not in the courtroom, but whatever I can record. I don't really have any other plans for Natchitoches besides this report court dates. I don't have anybody else I'm really interested in talking with. What do I ask for Lieutenant Williams and ask her if how her investigation is going, which was opened up in February. This is going to be kind of an anniversary of my arrest. That's the Third Circuit to verify that Owsley will get updates the same time that you do. Then tell Owsley what they say. Yeah, does the Third Circuit Court give Owsley any updates? Give the prosecutor any updates directly? Maybe we can come. What have you gotten any discovery about your watching of porn in the library? That's all been in the transcripts. That's all been mentioned. You didn't see the transcripts? Go to West Weagle, Louisiana. You hear a lot of stories. Oh, okay. No, Louisiana is not somewhere I'm just gonna mess around. I'm minding my own business. I'm not going out and doing that cop watching stuff. I'm not even watching cops, only if they drive by my car. Like just today, I was in a park, old Civil War park, and just hanging out, and a cop came through the park only once today, And I just kind of turn on my 360 cam and let that do let that, I edited the cop car going by my car. That's it. I didn't want to hold up a camera and just point it at them and then kind of follow the car. I just let the 360 camera capture everything, and then I go into edit it, and then follow the car with the editing. That's it's not the best. It's not as good detail as this phone cam, but it's still, you get the idea of the activity going on. So that's my report. That's my status report, and it was, I'm just preparing for this, and so I'm just making a warning. I'm just letting people know that I might end up in jail for a third time in Natchitoches for whatever reason, or even in just Louisiana in general. They might catch me for something in the state. They might have their state troopers on high alert. So yeah, I'm wandering down to Louisiana just for this report issue, and I'm gonna try to just make it as painless as possible. So yeah, that's it. What's a weekly gas bill? I don't know. It's 20 a week. So there's no lawyer. No, I'm not gonna have any lawyer with me. I could almost pay somebody in Natchitoches to show up to do the report, because sounds like it's almost anybody could show up. Just to say there's nothing, just anybody just shows up and just says, I have nothing new to report. That's it. And how hard is that? Anybody, a 3-year-old could go to Judge Ousley's courtroom and say, I have nothing new to report. And that's it. I have nothing new to report. Whatever animal is capable, I send a parrot in just to say, I have nothing new to report, because that's all that needs to happen. There's no legal issues to discuss. There's nothing to debate. There's nothing to compromise on. There's no compromise to be made at this court hearing. It's just simply getting some creature to go to Judge Elsley's court and entertain him and why not have a little parrot say it for him, so he can be amused, because he's doing it for amusement. I have nothing new to report. You say 3-year-olds are too young for that? I don't know. I can't. I've never had kids, so I don't know. Payment plan to pay $10. Get a payment plan to pay $10 a month. Start paying the $411. Yeah, Judge Usley's definitely, he picks and chooses his enemies. And I think he's a little reckless about how he chooses his enemies and his friends. It's probably based on a lot on emotion. He talks a lot of logic, but then he tries to explain away logically his erratic decisions. It's really something to behold. So it makes sense that, I mean, he couldn't get up higher, and he couldn't win that district court level judgeship. And I wonder where it even stopped. Did he just lose the election, or was he found to be inadequate in other ways? I'm not sure. People just didn't trust his decision making. But I mean, I met somebody in jail who Judge Ousley represented in divorce court, and the guy said he was happy with Judge Ousley's like his work. So yeah, I can't really dress up too fancy. I want to bicycle in, so I want to be, and it's going to be kind of warm, so I want to just. I'll have my collared shirt on. It's just going to be a flannel shirt. I don't really have any fancy clothes to wear. I'm not a court officer anyway, so I'm not held to that standard of dress code. I guess I have to tuck my shirt. I have to tuck my shirt into my pants, because that's a new rule. So whatever clothes I'm wearing, I just have to make sure that I tuck my shirt into my pants. And yeah, that could be for safety or something. It could be partially for safety, partially for dress code. Yeah, judges, all city judges are evil in any states. It doesn't matter if they're Louisiana. It's just the city judges have a lot in Louisiana have a lot more power than city judges in any other in other states. So their evil is amplified. In Louisiana, it's an amplified evil. While, whereas in like North Dakota, all I had to say to the city judge was, "I want a jury trial," and so that immediately gets me out of his courts. But I say I go up to Judge Ousley, the city court judge, and say, "I want a jury trial," and they're like, "Tough luck, you don't get it." That's it. That's in our law. That's not how we do it down here. So I was stuck, and people are stuck with city judge with no jury trial option, and that's not like other states. Because when you request a jury trial, then in other states they'll spend a little bit more time uh, with the lawful nature of your arrest. They'll put a little bit more effort into making sure that it's clear that this was a lawful arrest. And because the city judges in Louisiana can tell you that you don't get a, a jury trial for your misdemeanors, they don't need to bother so much with the lawful nature of your arrest. They just want to know about um, what the testimony of how people are thinking and feeling at the time more so than the lawful nature. Yeah, city court, the district court stuff, do criminal and civil too. That, yeah, they change it up. Like some judges apparently are so specialized because there's a certain problem in a certain region that like they only focus on a small narrow topic. Like there's a water judge in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. They got a water judge who's also the building custodian, the courthouse custodian, but they say he's a water judge, and he specializes in water rights. And that's all he does. So there's judges that get very familiar with very narrow topics, and that's about all they know. You ask them about criminal law, and they'll look at you blank with a blank stare. Yeah, the city judges do a wide variety of stuff, and so they have uh, a very a broad understanding of both criminal and civil matters. County deputy, city court marshals have a lot of power. With ultimate conclusion that there's nothing. Yeah, I could give a whole speech. We could talk about what to report. There's many ways to look at it. What I need to do is get that AI. I need a phone number so I can sign up for the AI, and then I could look at what the AI can spit out for me. That open, what is that called? Open SQL or whatever it's called. The new AI that like writes speeches for you, and then I could just use that because apparently this AI is getting pretty good. Too young to have stayed in the Southeast Asian. No, I missed pretty much all wars. Grunts so big. All right. Yeah, how much can be said for a hearing on this. As soon as Judge Owsley asks, "What do you have?" What I forget. What was the last transcript? What did that say? Ask. What do you have to report? I'll just sort of start on the very basics of what I have to look up. What is a common report to make? I have to ask that. Thank you, Chaz, from Utah. Keep fighting the good fight. Yeah, this is the same fight going on for a year now. This is almost an anniversary. All right, my arrest was like the end of this month, January sometime. So this is my anniversary month. A year after being arrested, my case is still open, and this judge, he thought that he could just slip me through the system real sneaky, like, it's a shock and awe approach, and he got me stuck in jail for 26 days out of the 30 that he demands. And I think he was pretty sure that he was going to be able to keep me in for the 30 days without any lawyer intervention, because I was working against the clock in jail. I was unable to do a single thing. But then Pig Trader Roberts, him and Daniel Baldquist too, and a couple other guys, they're able to find a lawyer who was willing to work over the weekends to get me out of jail sooner, so that I still had time to serve, and that makes it more of a like more of a like a something that it gave a bigger reason why that it was say it's something to hold against me, I guess. If I served the full 30 days, then there's be nothing for the appeals court to intervene on. They had not that have They just say, oh, well, the time was served. What are we appealing exactly? Just appealing your feelings? It'll be more about them deciding. The Third Circuit Court of Appeals will decide if I should serve the last 4 days of my sentence and pay the $411. They'll have something, and because I didn't want to finish out that 30 days. So get with that lawyer. My lawyer is willing to discuss whatever concerns I have over email. Courts of Appeals would be a good okay. Yeah, so I don't know. Moved a mountain in just a few days. It was awesome. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was maybe a counter shock and awe to Owsley's pattern of shock and awe. I think Owsley has worked in that way a lot through his divorce representations. Work with shock and awe. Always try to surprise the other side and get them on their heels, shake them up a little bit so that they stumble and don't know what to say. It's that way you don't really argue real. You don't have meaningful arguments. It's more about just surprising the other person, and the court process kind of become very meaningless, and that's happened too. It's like in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, my free lawyer, she's a public defender. She got the case dropped, and she just sent me like this case from, I don't know, Maine, about property rights. I didn't see really where it had anything to do with my case of this failure to ID issue. But she said she told me to keep quiet over the weekend, and she'll get this case dropped by Monday. And she got it dropped, and then she didn't explain anything to me. She just said, "Yeah, I talked to the prosecutor, and that was it. Whatever they said, I have no idea, and she wouldn't tell me. All I know is that prosecutor, let's see, what is her name? Uh, Alex, Alexandra, I know it's Alex. She quit. She like her email was pulled from the website, the court website. She quit that position, but then she moved on to Alexandria Jennings. She's like some 30-year-old prosecutor who was listening closely to the trolls. The trolls were feeding her, and she used everything, just like Prosecutor Benjamin used everything. And I think Alexandria was embarrassed and moved on to another courthouse after that. But there's people who have no shame, and 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 they're out there too. There's prosecutors who have absolutely no shame. The trolls help challenge the prosecutors a little bit on how far they'd be willing to go to fight a real ridiculous charge, a constitutional charge. Let's see, Gary's from Louisiana is not fun. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in that process. So yeah, some prosecutors will feel a little shame. Like look at Bethany, Missouri. That prosecutor just uh, forget his name. He dropped the case in one day and a half, a day and a half. So I mean, there's some prosecutors that'll quickly realize a losing battle and the shame that they could bring upon themselves and their profession. And there's others that are just shameless and don't care what other people think. They're not voted in. They report to the head prosecutor, and in Natchitoches it's the Billy Joe Harrington, who's actually he seems to be giving full support to Cloyd Benjamin, and Cloyd Benjamin referred to the entire team uh, when he responded to my writ that went to the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. So it's the whole team. Billy Joe Harrington is 100% behind uh, violating people's constitutional rights, and is supporting. Uh, he's behind Cloyd Benjamin's work. He stands behind it as if it's his own. So how did Billy Joe Harrington operate as a prosecutor? You would see him as being similar in nature. Owsley looks terrible on the trial transcript. Hard to believe that any higher court. Yeah, you just look at his conviction, his reasons for conviction at the very end. That's all you gotta see. His logic is crazy. Asking who records in a library after you're a distant relative, um, artist of the revolution. Benjamin is a lead. Yeah, they love rankings too. The lead DA, you got a chief and a chief assistant chief, and then they wanted to get a security or a security no safety manager above that. They just want to make everything so top heavy with all these crazy titles. All chiefs. The city Natchitoches is full of a lot of chiefs and few Indians. They just want to make their leadership so top heavy, just because they love all those the status of the appearance of status in their positions. Kingfish. Um, there's a movie that portrays the politics in Louisiana called Kingfish. Hmm. All right. I haven't heard of it. No, I'm not familiar with it. So, all right. I think, yeah, it's an hour now, so I'm gonna put a stop to this and have to give future updates because I don't really have anything new to report. So I'm given the advance warning that I'm going to give a report, and then maybe another advance warning on the future reports, and just yeah, play it by ear. So it'll be January 10th. So thanks for visiting.